Imagine this. You've just spent a huge chunk of your savings on a beautiful, brand new motorbike. The paint is perfect. The chrome shines so brightly it hurts to look at. It's the nicest thing you own. So what's the very first thing you do? You take it straight to a shop and have them mummify it in plastic wrap, every single surface. It's one of the first things you'll notice in Vietnam. Millions of gorgeous motorbikes shimmering under a tight, glossy second skin. It looks weird. Why buy something beautiful just to hide it? It's not just about a few scratches. The real reason is a story about history, value, and survival.
To understand this, you have to understand the sheer scale of motorbike life here. Stand on any street corner in Saigon or Hanoi. It's not a trickle of traffic. It's a roaring, flowing river of two-wheeled vehicles. There are over 60 million of them in the country. You hear the constant friendly beep-beeps, the low thrum of 1,000 tiny engines. You smell the sweet scent of sugarcane juice from a street vendor, mixing with the gasoline fumes. And when the river of bikes pauses at a red light, you see it everywhere, that clear, protective film. It's stretched taut over the bright pinks, electric blues, and deep blacks of the bike panels. Sometimes it's fresh and glossy. Other times it's yellowed and peeling at the edges like old tape. It makes you wonder, is everyone just incredibly clumsy? Are they all terrified of a single scratch? It seems like an obsession, a national paranoia. But this isn't about protecting the bike from a hypothetical crash. It's about protecting it from something much more certain, everyday life.
For generations of Vietnamese people, a motorbike was never just a machine, it was a dream. Go back just a few decades, and for an average family, buying a Honda Dream or a Wave wasn't like buying a vehicle, it was like buying a house. It could cost several years of a family's entire income, saved up note by painful note. Owning one was the ultimate status symbol. It announced to the entire neighborhood that you had made it. It meant your children could get to a better school. It meant you could take a job further away. It meant you could visit your relatives in your home village. That motorbike was the family's single most valuable asset. It represented upward mobility, freedom, and the promise of a better future for your kids. You didn't just use it, you cherished it. You cared for it like another member of the family. And when you own something that precious, that hard-won, your first instinct is to protect it with everything you've got.
So what are they protecting it from? The threats are constant, and they come from all sides. First, there's the sun. The tropical sun in Vietnam is relentless. Its UV rays are brutal, bleaching vibrant colors into pale, faded versions of themselves in a matter of months. Then there's the rain. During monsoon season, the downpours aren't just water. They're gritty and acidic, slowly eating away at the bike's clear coat. But the biggest enemy is other motorbikes. Imagine a parking lot, a baizu. There are no neat, spacious spots. An attendant grabs your handlebars and shoves your bike deep into a tightly packed matrix of hundreds of others. Metal scrapes against plastic, mirrors get tangled, and pedals gouge paintwork every single day. It is a slow, grinding war of attrition. Each tiny scratch is another wound. So why not just get it repainted if it gets damaged? The answer to that question reveals a completely different philosophy about what it means to own something.
In many Western cultures, we have a mindset of consumption. We buy things, we use them, they get scratched and worn, and we call it character, or we just replace them. An iPhone gets a crack, a car gets a dent. It's part of the product's life cycle. We expect things to degrade. But in Vietnam, the mindset is one of preservation. This comes from a history where things were scarce and incredibly valuable. The goal isn't to use something up, it's to keep it in its original, pristine state for as long as humanly possible. The plastic wrap isn't there to make the bike look better today. In fact, it objectively makes it look a little less vibrant. The plastic wrap is a sacrifice. You are sacrificing a little bit of the bike's beauty right now in exchange for the peace of mind that the real bike, the perfect one underneath, is safe from the world. It's a long-term strategy, a shield against decay. And sometimes that strategy pays off in a very tangible way.
Let me tell you about my friend's father, Uncle Min, in Da Nang. In 2002, after years of saving, he bought a brand new deep blue Suzuki Viva. It was his pride and joy, the most expensive object he had ever owned. The very first thing he did was take it to a local shop for a full John Kell Say, a vehicle skin sticker session. That bike became the workhorse of his family. It carried him to his job at the port, it carried bags of rice and groceries from the market, and on weekends it carried his wife and young daughter, all three of them, to visit their grandmother. Every few years, when the plastic shield became too scratched and yellow, he would painstakingly peel it off and pay to have a fresh one applied. Last year, his daughter got accepted into a university in Saigon. It was a huge honor, but a huge expense. To help pay her tuition, Uncle Min decided to sell his beloved Suzuki. He spent a whole afternoon peeling back 20 years of plastic protection. Underneath, the blue paint was brilliant, almost glowing. It looked like it had just rolled off the factory floor. He sold it to a collector for nearly what he originally paid for it 2 decades earlier.
Uncle Min's story is everywhere in Vietnam, and this preservation mindset extends far beyond motorbikes. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Look at the remote control for the TV or the air conditioner in a Vietnamese home. Chances are it's still sealed in the little plastic bag it came in. You'll see brand new living room furniture, beautiful couches and armchairs that remain covered in the thick, crinkly plastic from the factory for years. People keep the original boxes for their phones, their rice cookers, their fans. It's not about being strange or eccentric. It's a deeply ingrained cultural habit, born from a time when these items were monumental purchases. Protecting them was a sign of respect for the hard work it took to get them. It's a practical act that has evolved into a cultural signature, a quiet demonstration that you are a careful, responsible person who values what they have. It says you don't take your good fortune for granted.
So the next time you're in Vietnam and you see a bike shimmering in its plastic armor, you're not looking at a weird trend. You're looking at a shield. It's a layer of love protecting not just a machine, but a family's savings, a symbol of their success, and a promise for the future. It's a quiet, everyday act of defiance against wear and tear, a way of holding on to value in a world that is always changing. That thin layer of plastic wrap transforms a simple motorbike into a story of sacrifice and hope. If this story changed the way you see things, even a little, consider subscribing to That's So Vietnamese. We've got so much more to show you.